Good morning, everybody, and happy Monday. I hope everybody had a really good weekend and actually really great Labor Day weekend. I know it's been about 2 weeks since I've had a chance to really do any of this for any of you guys. Hoping everybody's stayed out of a bit of trouble, but gotten in a bit of trouble there for Labor Day. So for today, our topic that we're going to talk about is goal setting. So I thought we'd start with a really strong Zig Ziglar quote here. A goal properly set is halfway reached. That is extremely accurate, especially with open enrollment, knowing that this is going to be our busiest time of the year. We have 3 months to knock out as much work as physically possible, but how do we do it smarter, not harder? One of the ways to do it at the very beginning is to set proper goals for ourselves. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Well, one of the many things. So happy Motivation Monday, everybody. I see we have actually quite a few people new on the call today. So to give you an idea on how the layout works is we're going to go through a tip of the week, then we're going to jump into AHCP trends, and then we're going to give a shout out to sales leaders. We had a really good week last week, so we'll give some pretty good kudos. And in the end, we're going to do a sales technique, which that's going to be goal setting. To start with the tip of the week, we actually have two this week. The first one is that on the 13th, so tomorrow, we do have self-funded training. So if you have not signed up for that yet, please sign up for it. It is in the training section of ahcpsales.com. We have about 50 people registered and we have about 100 spots there. So if you haven't done it, please do so. Just go click on that, register. It is completely free and it's only going to take about 30 to 40 minutes of your time. It's a really powerful program. You're going to make great commission off of it, which is kind of important. So if you aren't in the self-funded program yet, for businesses, again, that's 5 to 200 employees, go and sign up for that. So I've been up since quite early this morning because as far as it goes, Time Insurance Company and National Health Insurance Company, NHIC, both moved to the same quoting platform as of this morning. For those of you that don't know, NHIC and Time Insurance Company are our two busiest carriers, and I thought what we could do today is actually take a walkthrough of their new quoting tool because I've had people ask for that, and I thought, hey, you know what, we could spend about 5 minutes doing a quick walkthrough. So if you haven't gone through and clicked on your carrying benefits link, I would do that. That's going to automatically navigate you to your new link, and it's called a Quote Nat Gen. One thing I do want to keep in mind is I am on a test link this morning, so it's going to run a little slower. I wanted to stay off the real ones for you guys so you could continue making sales. If you have not seen Quote Nat Gen, here it is. It is a really modern, really client front-facing platform. One of the things I like is right away what's going to happen is they're going to only ask you for the minimum demographics to get you a quote. So let's start walking through this really quick. So it's going to ask you for a zip code and the effective date. Now, the effective date for 10/1 is when you will see both Time Insurance Company and NHIC, so TIC and NHIC, on the same exact quoting platform. So as long as you pick 10/1 and later, you'll be able to see that. One of the great things is as well, one of the new features is that you can quote out 90 days for effective date. Before it was only about 30, but now you can quote out 90 days. It will automatically update for you the length of the short-term policy. So it's going to say here, 60640 is at Chicago. They can write up to 11 months for short terms. It'll next ask you to put in the people who are on the policy. So I'll just put in a male really quick. Say he's a non-smoker. Here's the area to add the spouse and dependents. If you have somebody who has more than one child, extremely common, just click Add Dependent. If for some reason you go wild and add a ton of dependents, just click the red X's. Once you have what you need on there, if you press Continue, it's going to pull up the plan selections. Keep in mind, if you are not appointed with both Time Insurance Company and NHIC, it will only show what you are appointed with. And if you're not, I would strongly recommend doing it. Those are some of our strongest products right now. Favorite thing about this platform is you will have all of NHIC's short-term medical deductibles in front of you, and you can just play with the co-insurances in real time here. Once you find one that you like, you can hit Select Plan. It will pop up for a cart now on the right-hand side. If you selected the wrong one and you need to update it, just change it to what it should be, and you can press Update Plan. And it'll change it there in the cart on the right-hand side. Below that, you'll see all of your supplemental products. Keep in mind with the accident, medical expense, critical illness top section there, your client can only have one of those products because they are all so similar. So I'll just throw in the guaranteed issue Triomed that we sell the most of by far. And you have your other products down here as well. So accident fixed benefit, cancer, heart, stroke, critical illness, dental indemnity, and if you are appointed with Starmount, that will populate here as well. I'll add a dental plan. We all know those are extremely powerful. They help increase our retention. And then we can just press enroll now. What's going to ask you for next is just to put in the information of the client finally. We went through all of that without actually having to put in the information of the client. So I'll type that in as quick as I can here. It'll ask for a resident address, and one of the things you'll notice too is the update. It's not going to ask for a social security number anymore. That was required for NHIC on carrying benefits. That is now removed on here, so it is not a requirement for you to ask for it. And we'll just put in a state. There we go. So once you put in all the required client information, you can press continue. And this is where you'll see the eligibility questions. One thing I want to let you know here, again, this is just quick walkthrough. It will separate it by product. So these are my short-term questions. This is my dental question. So kind of know the answers here, so we'll just quickly click through that for you. Below that, we'll say, hey, what payment method do you want to use? So I'll use in a dummy one here. Below is that authorization that we don't have to read. We just click the checkbox because it's going to be the one that gets sent to our client, or if we're doing the voice signature, it's going to be the one that will be sent, or that will be reading to our client that way. You press submit, and it's going to think for a quick minute because we are on the test server. It'll take a little longer than it does in real life. One thing too is there was an email emailed out. There was a video emailed out this morning on a walkthrough for QuoteNatGen. It is also posted in the training section for you. I built a quick video for you guys. So we do have a video if this is going too fast, which I know it might be for a lot. Go click on that video. It is 5 minutes long. You can stop and you can play it as many times as you wish. It's actually, I hosted it on YouTube there for you. So at the very end here, you'll see member ID, which is what they need to e-sign their policy, and then all the policy IDs as well. You'll notice the dental policy here is Time Insurance Company, the Triomed and Short Term are both NHIC, all on one convenient platform. Your e-signature instructions are here, knowing that your client will get an email in about 2 minutes after we press submit, asking them to go through and fill in and sign their policy. Keep in mind, that is the first thing they will see once they create an account, is to sign their policy. And at the bottom is voice signature instructions. One of the nice things now is if you do voice verifications often, here's the instructions on how to do it, and they combined all the scripts for you, and the scripts will populate for you for whatever products you select. If you have multiple people sitting in your office, you can just click Start New Quote. So I thought I'd literally spend just about 3 minutes there to do a quick walkthrough of QuoteNatGen for you. It is a lot different than carrying benefits, but it is also a lot cleaner. It's just honestly quicker, more client-facing, more intuitive. One thing I noticed too is the people who test drove it, they increased their cross-sell because they have all ancillary products on that one platform, so they're not jumping between different companies that way. So hopefully this helps. If you have any questions, which I know I've had quite a few this morning, please reach out, training@ahcpsales.com. Don't be shy about it. To take a quick look at trends, last week was great. We had a huge, and I mean huge, increase as far as it goes with major medical. We're starting to get the tick up. We can hear that it's happening in the news. It's on the front of people's minds again. Open enrollment is starting, and we're starting to grow. Also a huge increase in short-term medical because we need a qualifying life event to write a major medical policy. So we had a 33% increase in short-term medical, one of the best weeks on record for that. NHIC and Golden Rule were by far the leaders in that, NHIC being about 70% of the sales. Accident, we had no change in it, which was interesting because I thought we would with everything going on in the major medical and short-term sector. One thing too to keep in mind, what's going to be happening with open enrollment coming up. For 2017, I believe the max out of pocket, so far rumor always has it, as $7,150. Not less than 50% of the US has $1,000 in their savings account and checking account at any time. They can't afford $7,000. Make sure they have those ancillary products on, because when the big what if happens, your job is to make sure that they're supported. No change in critical illness as well, and no change in dental. So as far as it goes with major medical and short-term, they took off. With accident, critical illness, dental, kind of stayed the same. Triomed, because it falls between the accident and critical illness category, we had a really healthy growth with that, mainly tied to those short-term sales. So kudos to you guys. Next, we'll take a look at the sales shout-outs. So the Olympics is officially over. I can't keep the medals up anymore, even though I really like them because, you know, the U.S., as usual, dominated in the Olympics. But we got some nice trophies going on. It is football season, so give me a week or two and I'll get us a good football one on there. Which, funny enough, I'm originally from Minnesota, which has the Vikings. Oh, not the best team. And now I'm in San Diego, which we have the Chargers. I'm not winning on the football front, my friends. I am not. So to start out with the short-term medical, we have Brian Jarvitz. He led the team by a lot, and he took home the gold, mainly selling NHIC. We have David Taxer as well in silver, just right behind him with NHIC, and then Jacob Gordon in third for short-term medical sales there with Golden Rule. As far as it goes in the ancillary line, so the line that's going to be paying the most commission to these people, I hate to tell you as well, Brian Jarvitz is leading that with both CBL and Triomed. So he kicked butt with the short term and in the ancillary line. We all know he's going to be having a really good vacation coming up after open enrollment. Silver, we have Elaine again. She has good with CBL and the NHIC products, and in bronze, Jacob Gordon, he took bronze in both categories. He must be, I guess, if you're comparing it to the Olympics, more of a Northern Europe country, because they always seem to rock the bronzes, with NHIC and Golden Rule. For those of you that this is your first Motivation Monday, our goal is to get this done in about 20 minutes. So give you kind of a lot of information, keep it really packed for you so it gets what you need and you can jump off the phone and start going back to your sales. So we're going to end with the sales technique today, which is setting effective goals for open enrollment. So I know this seems kind of obvious working in sales, and I bet a lot of you do that. But my sales team members in the past that I have worked with, I've had sales teams, I've been a sales leader myself, either they didn't have goals or had really poorly developed goals, and people with effective goals set are extremely more successful than those that don't. I'm a huge fan of goal setting. I do it for myself. Actually, I do small goals every day. I do weekly, monthly, and yearly goals. And it's one of the first things I look at when I'm working one-on-one with salespeople. I want to see your goals and I want to see where they are. First, let's play the numbers game. Numbers work for most people. So first off, it states that 83% of people have no goals. I mean, how can you have no goals, right? How are you supposed to know where you're going or at least plan for the future with no goals? Goals I would compare to a builder and an architect. Not having goals is like trying to build a house without plans, honestly. Yes, enough work, you will eventually get there. I guarantee if we give everybody the right supplies, the right tools, and set you down on a plot of land, you'll be able to build a house. It may not be done right, and you probably won't have the desired outcome, but it's doable, and it'll probably take 400 times as long. Now, 14% of people have goals in their head, meaning they have an idea of where they want to go or what they want to do. The people who keep goals in their head are 10 times as successful as those with no goals. Just by planning it out, by just thinking about it, they are 10 times more successful. Kind of shows the power of goals right there. Those that write it down are 30 times more successful than those without goals. By having a well-developed plan on where you want to go or what you want to do, you could be 30 times more successful. But again, only about 3% of people do it. I was out this weekend with some friends, and I actually wound up kind of asking the people who I was out with, who has goals. Everybody kind of had a goal. I'm like, okay, so who's actually sat and thought about their goal? About 2 people did. Like, who has their goal actually written down? And the most successful person out of our group says, yeah, I have my goals written down. I keep them under my keyboard. I look at it every morning. Like, well, it's kind of proof for what we're talking about here. Now, as far as goal setting goes, I will say a lot of us have tried. Actually, the numbers say about 42% of people will try to do goal setting. Of those 42%, over 70% of those will quit within 15 days. So there's more than just writing down a goal. There's also constant work at a goal that needs to be done on those. There's a quote in Alice in Wonderland there by Lewis Carroll that I think is one of the most accurate representations of why you should do goals. It actually comes when Alice is walking and she hits a fork in the road and she encounters the Cheshire Cat, who asks Alice where she wants to end up. Alice answers that she has no idea where she's going, and the Cheshire Cat replies, in that case, either fork will do. So if everyone has a successful idea in their head, it doesn't matter where you're going. You actually have to sit there and plan for it. So let's start off with a few tangibles here. So there are 5 steps in designing your goal we'll start about. And that's something you're gonna have to do is write it down, keep it close to you. The first thing is the goal has to be specific. You wanna get specific about your goal setting if you want a result. You need to know the who, the what, the when, the where, and the why. The goal setting, do everything in present tense. So I will, I am, I want. While you're doing this, state it like you already have achieved it. So I will make $100,000 this year, or I will sell 2 policies a day during open enrollment. Keep that in mind. If you throw out something like I want more money, not going to be powerful enough. You need to give yourself specifics. Again, if you keep the goal just vague and non-tangible, you're wasting your time. You're absolutely wasting your time. So keep the goals specific, especially with open enrollment. If right now you are selling 2 policies a week, know that we are going to have a huge uptick as far as it goes in volume. So if it's 2 a week, try to set your goal for 1 a day. Double what your goal is right now. Also keep in mind that with major medicals, they are just the driver for policies. Yes, they're out there. Yes, that's what your client needs, but they're not going to be able to pay for it. So when you say specific, I would keep in mind that you want to set a goal for your major medical, and I'd probably do 2.5 times of what you do now in sales, but you also want to add a specific goal for ancillary. Some people like to do dollar amounts. I'm more of a raw numbers kind of guy, like, hey, you know what, with every major medical that I'm going to sell, I'll make sure that they have 2 ancillary products, so an accident in a dental or critical illness in a dental, so I'm helping my client to the best of my ability. The second is measurable. So it's kind of two-sided really, is what success is. All goals need an action, and knowing that, yes, you want to make $100,000 is measurable, but also by doing what? What will you do differently to achieve these goals? Goal setting is not saying I want something. That's called wishing. It's about creating an action plan that you're going to look at to get to the end. So you want to make $100,000 to help make more money for a down payment on a new house by getting that new California license and getting 3 new sales from it in a week. That's a good goal. What is it exactly that you want? How are you going to do it? So you're going to do it by getting that new license in California, which will open you up to new leads, which will help increase your sales by 3 sales a week. I actually have a really, really good friend who is the queen of setting goals. But because of that, it's now her new weekly hobby. Every Monday she sits down and she sets new goals for herself, but she doesn't stick with them. So it's kind of painful. You need to run hard on your new goals. The first week, remember that after 15 days, most people quit. So yes, you need a measurable goal, but you need to stick with it as well. So you have actionable, right? So we talked about having it measurable. So giving yourself numbers, being specific, so probably doubling to 2.5 times what your production is now. Measurable, actionable too. How are you going to do it? Are you going to be doing more effective follow-up? Are you going to be going through and working with a new client base, making sure that they have the ancillary products? Are you going to create yourself little email templates that you're going to send out to clients who already have products? Personally, if you have clients that you have sold major medicals to in the past, one of your actionable items should be follow up with them. Because of the way open enrollment works, it's basically like you're writing a 12-month short-term to them every year. They can switch plans, call up, see how it's working, see what they do. If you can get them to switch plans, you may be able to help them with their ancillary products as well. So with actionable as well, you need a how and a date. So go through, set yourself the how, go through, make it an actionable. I mean, honestly, one of the things you want to say is I'm going to follow up with my clients beforehand. That's a really good action item to help increase your open enrollment sales. Start testing the waters, start creating your own leads that way as well. You already sold them, they're already yours. You don't want someone else to snipe in and take them. You want them to be relevant as well. So really it's specific, measurable, actionable, relevant, especially with open enrollment. I mean, yes, you're still going to be selling a ton of short-term, but how are they relevant to what you want to do? What products are going to help you get to where you want to go? What major medical carriers do you need to be appointed with? The nice thing about if you set your goal now, we still have time to go through and make sure that you have all your appointments you need by November 1st. So make it relevant to you, to what you want to do. And the last one is make it timed, which is particularly important. So with this one, what's nice about it is that you need to make it timed. When are you going to set yourself dates to take a look at what's going on? So are you going to say, you know, I'm going to keep myself to a weekly time goal, I'm going to keep myself to a monthly time goal. Timed is when are you going to check in on yourself? So with it, set yourself a number amount, how you're going to get it, what are you going to change? Yes, we're going to be busy, but it'd be great to be busier, right? So yes, I want to be busy. I want my phone off the hook. I'm really looking forward to having those nonstop 40-hour work week calls where I'm just hang up my phone, another client comes through, hang up my phone, another client is there. But how do I know that I'm actually making a difference? Make it timed. Make sure you stop and you check back in on yourself, because if you set a goal without any of that, you're honestly just wasting everything that all the time you spent on it that you could have been talking to a customer. So we have one more thing to talk about with goal technique, but as far as it goes, keep in mind, make it SMART. I mean, it sounds stupid, but that really spells out SMART. So specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-based. Those are very important. So as well with our second slide of it, so it needs to be written. That is one of the most important things. A lot of people say, hey, I have a goal and I'm going to keep it in my head. I mean, I've worked with people who have been in insurance for 20 years and they say that to me. I'm like, that's great. But you need to have it written down. That is the most important thing. Writing it down and keeping it close to where you work, this is something that you should be able to look at every day to help motivate you. I actually have my goals written on a whiteboard because I get really excited when I achieve them. So for me, it's one of the things that I drive, like here's my goal, here's my sales goal. Once I get that done, bam, I get to erase it and I get to start myself over for a new one. Keep it to yourself. I'm in my office, so I can easily keep it to myself. So psychologically, it's proven that if you keep your goals specifics to yourself, you're willing to work harder to prove it to yourself. I know it's kind of odd. I'm not saying don't share it with a loved one. I'm not saying don't sit down with your husband, wife, SO, whoever you have there. But it shouldn't be something that you're going to trump around the world, honestly. So keep it written. Keep it to yourself. I told you we have one guy who I know that keeps it under his keyboard. He's extremely, extremely successful. I keep mine on a whiteboard. That way it's kind of in front of my face and I can adjust it if I need to. Another thing that I suggest doing with goal setting, especially for open enrollment, because honestly you're going to be burning the midnight oil. Put a picture of why you sell. A lot of us are visual. And a lot of us in sales is visual. So if it's that new house, put a picture of a nicer house than what you have now. If it's a new car, put a picture of that car. If it's more money, hey, I've had one of my most successful agent, he used to have just really bad picture of just stacks of money. It was tacky and horrible. It worked for him. It kept him going. It still keeps him going to this day. He's extremely successful here at AHCP. A lot of people too, what they would do is they'd actually make it a background on their computer. Keep it clean, especially if you're going to be working face-to-face with clients. You can have that picture of the new house. You say, hey, you know what, that's my goal. I just want a new house. So picture of why you sell, keep it written down. Try to keep it to yourself if possible. And the last thing is monitor and adjust as you need. I had one sales agent who he was really, really, really great at what he did, but once he hit his goal, he just stopped. That makes no sense. We get paid commission. That is what we do. We want to sell as much as possible. So with these goals, it's the reason why I keep it on a whiteboard is monitor and adjust. Hey, if your goal is to sell 2 policies a day and you've already hit your 2 a day and you've been doing that really easy, adjust it to 5. Some people also believe in making your goal and then making yourself a stretch goal as well, saying, hey, you know what, my minimum day is 2. My stretch goal is really 5. I want to sell 5 policies a day, and everything counts as 1. So dental is going to count as 1, an accident's going to count as 1, a critical is going to count as 1. My goal a day is just 5 because I want to save up for a down payment on a new house. My goal is almost always, if it's money-based, is going to be to travel. So, hey, my goal is to do 20 sales a day because I want to go stay at the Hilton in Bora Bora. That is a realistic goal that I've set. It's easy to achieve as long as you have it written down and you monitor it as needed. So keep in mind, make those goals smart, write them down, keep them to yourself, picture of why you sell, and monitor and adjust them. If you have any questions as far as it goes on goal setting, or you want some help setting up your goals, I know this is something that a lot of people want to work on because they want to work as effective as possible, please email training@hcpsales.com. Also, I have a quick question for everybody. I'd like you to email training@hcpsales.com. Find out if you want to continue doing these Motivation Mondays as far as it goes in open enrollment. I know we are going to be busy. Last year we did not do them during open enrollment just to save you time, but just sitting here pulling you. If you want to or if you don't, either way, you're not going to hurt my feelings. Just write into us at training@hcpsales.com and let us know. Also, if you have questions on Quote Nat Gen, don't be shy about that. So we're going to end with goals begin with the end in mind. As we talked about, you want to set your end in mind. You want to work backwards on the how. How are you going to actually get about what's going to make these goals attainable? So goals begin with the end in mind. If you have any questions, you need any help, let me know. If not, we try to make this as quick as possible with a system run through. Keep that in mind. So everybody have a great week, and I will look forward to talking to you all next week. Make it a good Monday.